Which 10 anglers moved on for the Bassmaster Elite and the Major League Fishing Bass Pro Tour into that championship round? Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog. If you're new, my name is Steve Chapman. 2 events happening this weekend. We have the Major League Fishing Bass Pro Tour, their final stage for the 2025 season on Saginaw Bay. And also we're having another tournament, the Bassmaster Elite Series on Lake St. Clair. Both are having day 3. Top 9 anglers from the BPT move into the championship round, and that includes Edwin Evers. And the top anglers from the Bassmasters move into the championship round. Now, over the last 2 days, we've always done the BPT before the Elites, but today we'll do the Elites first, even though now I'm realizing I don't know who the top 10 are. Now, if you remember, the top 50 anglers go into the knockout round. The top 10 move into the championship round. And I have one critique right off the bat for the Bass and the Elites. I think they really need to make a better decision on who they put a cameraman in their boat. By this I mean there are several anglers that just are not good on camera. They don't communicate, they don't articulate. They just kind of get on there and fish. And I know it's really hard to look down at their screen and articulate and cast and do what it takes to be good at live TV and live bass fishing. But I think they should at this point have a good knowledge on who's good on camera and who isn't. I know it's hard to say, well, this is the number 2 angler, number 3 angler. The problem is maybe that one angler isn't good live. If he isn't good live, put the cameraman on somebody else. And I only say that because if we're watching it and we're more entertained or it works out better, we want to hear from that angler. Now, Eastern Fothergill found him early. Didn't have a great day, but early on, he was on fire. And he had one that swallowed a hook. And he even said, if I take the hook out of this fish might die. And instead of sticking to seeing if it worked or if it didn't work, they went to commercial early. And it was one of those wonder what happened kind of deals. Now, Trey McKinney continued his absolute tear. And I know people are either with me or against this. I appreciate and respect your opinion because after last year, I wasn't on the McKinney train. But if you take away his discretions and the things that happened last year and just go with how he fished, and then you look at this season, Trey McKinney really has performed amazing. Now he is a scoper. He is fantastic with the scoping. But he also really, if you look into his background and his past, he's caught and done well without the technology. And that's why I say I'm really impressed by what McKinney's done this season, because he really is on fire. Now, also, if you missed it, Zona was back on the halftime show with Mercer and Kyle. And I really love having Zona back. I even like that he interrupts. I know that sounds horrible, but I enjoy his commentary quite a bit. And I wish he was back full time. Now I'm going to give Bass some props right now. I love that when they do go to commercial break, they have the main commercial on one side and a little picture-in-picture of the angler fishing. I really love that. I hope they continue to do that because even though they stick with one person and they don't talk and there's none of that, it still allows us to enjoy the fishing. And it's a great advancement and adds to their production quality. So thank you for doing that, Bass. But if you weren't watching the Elites, it was a scoper's delight. It was all about who wanted to look at that pixel screen. And they're allowed to. So we have to understand that and respect it. But the top 10 anglers moving into the championship round were Trey McKinney, Logan Parks, Kyoto Fujita, Tucker Smith, Matt Robertsons, Evan Kung, Paul Mueller, Alex Redwine, Cole Sands, and Brandon Palaniuk, who came out of nowhere, had a great day today, and made it into the top 10. And tomorrow's championship should be quite good. I will say, Trey McKinney's up almost 5 pounds. So he's probably going to win this wire to wire. And congratulations to him early. Now, what happened on day 3 of the Major League Fishing Bass Pro Tour on Saginaw Bay, stage 7, well, everything's zeroed today. Remember that. We have 19 anglers that are going to go down to 9, including Edwin Evers. Edwin has an automatic pass to the championship. Now, this is the last tournament of the year for the BPT. They'll start the team series after this. Zach Burge made an incredible move yesterday on day 2 from 56th to make the top 10 on day 2, and that was pretty special. But there was one fun fact that was said early on that was pretty impressive. The Bass Pro Tour, which only has 66 anglers, on the first 2 days caught 3 tons of scoreable bass. And that's with less anglers in the field. That's how well and how great that Saginaw Bay is fishing right now. Now, a scoreable bass is 2 pounds. There were a lot of 2-pound fish, 2 to 3-pound fish. But in that first period, we got to see Zach Burge and Nick Hatfield absolutely destroying the Saginaw Bay largemouth bass. They were near each other, and it was back and forth and back and forth. And I will say, the one thing I really enjoy about the BPT is they have amazing drone footage. At one point in time, they were over Ailer and down, and you could see every cast to a T. Now, there are people, I'm going to tell you, there are some anglers that don't like when a drone is above them. They feel like the drone looks like a bird, and a bird will scare off bass. So there are anglers that will say, we don't want that drone up in the air in a certain area while we're fishing. Now, 4 anglers used forward-facing sonar during their first period. And we should say right now, none of them were in the top 10 after the first period. I think the format that Major League Fishing is without question the best. You have to remember at times, people will turn it on. Like there were several anglers that turned it on during period 2. But because they were in a foot or 2 foot of water, they weren't really using it. They weren't using it in perspective mode. They weren't using it at all. They just turned it on maybe because they need to for their sponsors. But not everyone who turns it on is using it to catch fish. And in this tournament, I will say, I think this is another tournament where at the end, we're going to see that more fish were caught without forward-facing sonar than with it. Because some of these guys are in shallow, grassy, thick areas catching fish with frogs and topwater baits. And it's why the BPT really is succeeding right now. Now, after period 1, Spencer Sheffield had 45 pounds, Brian Thrift had 40, Hatfield had 37, Faircloth had 37. And it looked like to me, if you were an angler, you needed to hit that 100-pound mark to get into the final round. It kind of was close. And when I started watching period 2, there was still only 4 people that was using forward-facing sonar. Now, I know people turned it on in the middle of it, but still weren't using it. I'll go back to that. Now, if you weren't watching the Ailer-Wheeler argument, they were fishing near each other again. And it was kind of like a battle between the two of them. Who was going to do the best in that area? Who was going to get there first? Now, we didn't get to hear any of that this time, but it was there. And in period 2, James Elam did work. And at one point in time, he moved into the top 3 after being 15th or 16th and moved into the top 3 with an hour left. Now, the top 9 anglers that are going to join Edwin Evers in the championship round on Saginaw Bay include Edwin Evers, of course, Nick Hatfield, Brian Thrift, Jacob Wheeler, Spencer Sheffield, Todd Faircloth, Keith Carson, Brent Ailer, Cole Floyd, James Elam, and, of course, Edwin Evers again. And it's another great tournament for the BPT. That's the truth. I think, to be honest, I think the elites are having a great tournament too. I really have enjoyed, while I didn't think I was going to enjoy both of them being on at the same time, it's almost overwhelming because I'm writing notes. You guys can't see my notes, but I write notes as I'm doing things so that I can keep track of what's happening. And at times it's hard to because I'm not listening to both. But I think both organizations had a really good weekend. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I can't wait to see who wins. Who do you think is going to win? Can Trey McKinney and the elites go wire to wire? That's the first question. Who are you going to take in those top 10 anglers, especially because all weight 0? Who are you going to take in that top 10 from MLF BPT? comment below and tell me what you think. Have you enjoyed both tournaments? Have you enjoyed one more than the other? Drop a comment. I'd like to know. I really appreciate all the comments and everyone who's interactive on the channel. It's really appreciated, and I'm humbled by it. I did go to Buc-ee's during the tournament today, so I didn't get to watch the whole tournament, but thank you to everyone who kept me in the loop with great comments and texts to tell me what's going on. I really do appreciate the texts. If you see something, there's a good chance I put it in my notes. So if you know my phone number, text me if you see something that you think I should know about or maybe I didn't catch. Tomorrow I'm going to try to watch as much as possible, but I'll be honest, I have a lot of editing to do tomorrow. So sometimes that outweighs, unfortunately, the channel. But I'll still do a wrap-up afterwards. But comment below, and thank you. Thank you for being part of the team and family. It really is humbling, so thank you. But if you're not a team member or a family member, click that like and subscribe. It's quick, easy, and free. And remember, take your kid fishing and get your fish on.